Hey guys, what's up? The Secret of My House bidding you welcome, and this is a games that I've finished in the last few months video. So if you don't really want to watch it, don't need to stick around, but if you do, thanks a lot. It means a lot to me. And I have finished quite a few games in the last few months. I have finished 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games in the last few months, and not because I've really had a lot of time to finish them, just because whenever I've had spare time, I've been playing, so that's always good. And there haven't been a whole lot of new things coming out that I have an interest in, so, sorry, a door slammed, I don't know. This house. Alright, there haven't been a whole lot of new items kind of coming out lately that I would consider purchasing, so I've just been playing the backlog, which is something good, something we should all do every now and again, and the first one, I'm going to do this a little bit differently than what I usually do. As I show each game, I'm going to show you actual gameplay of the game I'm going to be holding up, so the first one, and I will have all of the links to the gameplays in the description, just so everyone gets their, just desserts I guess, and, just desserts? No. So everyone knows, I guess, and I'm surrounded by video games at the moment. I mean, I'm trying to sell off quite a bit of the crap in my collection, so that kind of ties in with this one, because I will never get rid of a game that someone has sent me, whether it's through a trade, a purchase, or whether they've just sent it to me out of the kindness of their own heart, like with this one, but Mr. Raised by Dingoes. If you're new to the channel, I'm sure you have heard the name multiple times. He probably gets more shoutouts on this channel than anywhere else on the internet, so he should be thanking me, but he sent me a game out of the kindness of his own heart, and this is the second game that he has sent me without me sending something back to him, so it is Trivial Pursuit, the Genius Edition, so the Me Edition, and as you can see in the back, it's just Trivial Pursuit. I mean, I saw in his video that you can just cheat to win at this, where for every question, you can just answer that you got it right. So the game will ask you a question, and then it'll ask you, did you get the answer correct? And you can just say yes. So I put this in, beat it in 7 minutes. I think it counts, and to Mr. Raised by Dingoes, this is coming your way, and this motherfucker's ticking. Whoa! We're all good? We're all good? No more droppages? Awesome. Alright. In the background, you can see some kind of RPG, and that's because I finished an RPG recently. Most of it I was playing, like, on the train and on the way to and from work, so you know, that's how I play RPGs, and that's why I only really play handheld RPGs, because the kind of grinding sections, I can just go through them while I'm bored. You know, I don't have to sit down and force my way through them, and thankfully there weren't too many of those kind of scenes in this game, but the game itself was Memory of Celcetta, or Celceta? I think it was Celceta, as the game was saying. It has a little bit of voice dialogue in the game, and so I got to learn all the characters' names, but by the time it taught me the characters' names, I had already given them my own name. Like, the main character, this guy, his name is Adol, but as it's spelled A-D-O-L, the entire game I was calling him Adol, and by the time it told me, I was not going to change my mind on it, so this is a cool little RPG. It's definitely one that if you have a Vita, you should definitely check out. It's set in the mystical land of, I think the land is called Ys. The game is called Ys, so I imagine the land is called Ys, but this one is set in Celceta, where at the beginning of the game, I guess the person who's telling the story is reading a storybook and says, this is telling the story of Adol, and they go back to, like, in the past, where the story is taking place and you start playing, so the entire game is your character trying to regain his memories, because at the beginning of the game he loses them all, and throughout the entire game you have to go through trying to get them all back, and It's got a really cool, not really a mechanic, but a thing where if you, as you go through the world, you unlock more pieces of a map, and you can get the map to 100%, and that kind of ties in with the story where there's this great forest, and in the beginning of the game, you're told to... Neighbors are loud. You're told to go through this forest and try and map as much of it as you can. And your memories are within this forest. Man, crying babies, what can you do? And your memories are trapped within this forest, so as you go through the forest and unlock more of the map, you unlock more of your memories, and it's a kind of standard action RPG, as you can see there. You know, you just have a single attack button and that attacks. And with each character you get, they have different kind of strikes. So Adol himself has, I think it's called a slash attack, while your buddy, whose name is Duran, he has a striking attack because he just uses his fists. And that character there, who I don't remember the name of, it's been a little bit since I played it. She throws knives, so hers is like a piercing attack, and different kind of attacks have different kind of effects on enemies, so it's a good game. It's a good game. If you have a Vita, definitely check it out. Before I start talking about this one, I want you to have a listen to the music. Definitely muting that. Alright. Next game is Tazmania on the Game Gear. Some actual retro stuff. How about that? And this is not a very good game at all. If you're collecting for the Game Gear, I would suggest picking it up because it's so cheap. But if you're looking for a good game to play, can you even see it on there? I honestly don't know. But if you're looking for a good game to play, pass it on. There are better games on the Game Gear and on other systems, but when I picked this up, I thought it would just be a kind of straight kind of platformer, like a kind of Mario or something, but it's not. It's more akin to a puzzle platformer where as each level has its own kind of trick to it, and you have to go through the level obeying the trick. So this level, you're in a mine cart, and you have to press up or you have to press down depending on what hazards are in your way. So that one you have to press up, that one you have to press down, otherwise you're going to hit it. And you have to find the correct route through the mine, and each of the levels are kind of like that, and they're just not very fun. A lot of them I did struggle with until I looked up gameplay, so as I said, I would not recommend this. It is Tazmania on the Game Gear. There are other versions of the game. I believe the Genesis version is far better than this, as it's more just a platformer, so definitely check out that version over this one. Alright, this one has far better music, and as you might be able to tell from the monochrome graphics, it is a Game Boy game, and I will get that full screen so you guys can see it properly. It is quite a fun game. It is one that I got fairly recently. I put into my Game Boy just to try it out, and before I had known it, I had actually finished the game. It's a very short game. It's only around half an hour long, so it is Bonks Adventure for the Game Boy. This is a Chinese cartridge, but what's cool about this cartridge is Bonk is actually holding a Game Boy. How cool is that, huh? Well, this is definitely one worth your time. I'm not sure how cheap it is. I think it might be worth like 10 or 15 bucks, so. But definitely check it out if you can find it on the cheap. It is one that is definitely worth playing. It's a lot like Bonks Adventure on the NES or any other kind of Bonk game, where it's like a Mario game where you're just going through the level trying to get to the end, and yeah, it's a fun game. It is one that I very much joy, and if you do want to hear more about it, just look up gameplay of it and it'll tell you everything you need to know about the game. One that you may or may not have already seen me play through. I did a full playthrough of this, and this is actually my video, so that's a cheap shout out. Shout out to myself, why not? But it is Rugrats Search for Reptar, a game that I did play when I was younger, and you gotta remember I'm only 20, so I'm a young guy. This is one that I played when I was younger, and I just thoroughly enjoy it. It is one that I absolutely love. Even though it's not a very good game, I have that nostalgic kind of feeling for it. So what it is it's basically a bunch of mini games, but I'll be back. And we're back. How long has it been? Long enough for my internet to crash. It has been 4 days. Yeah. I started filming this video on Monday, and it is now Thursday, so sorry about that. That'll mean there's been a full week between any filming, but I do have a reason for this. I've been doing a crap ton of spring cleaning, and I said there was a lot of video games beside me earlier in the video. Now there's a lot more. I'd say at least 150 games are beside me that I'm going to get rid of in the future, so big things happening. I'm clearing a lot of the junk out of my collection just because, you know, if it's junk and I'm not playing it, then I don't really want it anymore, so I'm still keeping a lot. You might notice that the Master System collection looks a bit different, that's because a lot of games are gone from it. I mean, I'm sending a few games to Raised by Dingoes, but overall I'm getting rid of quite a few games from my collection, so that is why I have been a little bit busy, plus just random stuff, you know. Alright, so let's get back on with this video, and sorry for the delay. Alright, so the next game in this, you might be able to tell what it is from the video playing in the background. There aren't a whole lot of games like this out there, so it is one that I have heard nothing but good things about. From people who I've seen pick this up to people who I've seen talk about them playing it, I've heard nothing but good things about this game. So when I started playing it, I had super high hopes, and for whatever reason, the game just couldn't deliver. It is Sin and Punishment Star Successor. I keep thinking this is Sigma Star Successor, but that's a GBA game, so it's just Star Successor. And not to say it's a bad game at all, it's a lot like a game like Wild Guns, or all I can think of is Wild Guns, possibly Airwolf as well, where your character is on the screen, you can move left or you can move right, and there are enemies coming at you, and you just shoot at them. You can't move forward until you've defeated all of the enemies. You can fly up and down, you can dodge, you can do all of that stuff. Gameplay-wise, it is extremely solid. It is a very, very well-controlling game. In fact, everything about the game is very good. The controls are great, the gameplay is very fun. I played most of it for friend because in the later levels it does get a bit difficult and it's hard to finish it just with one person. The graphics for Nintendo Wii, they look good. They look very good. The monsters and the enemy design are all very unique. The bosses are epic, and the story, you know, I didn't really like the story. I mean, after a while you can skip cutscenes, and by the time I got halfway through the game, I did not care about the story anymore. I just wanted to play the game, so I was skipping cutscenes, and just for whatever reason, like, I like the game. I can see why it's considered a kind of hidden gem. I don't really like to use that term, but that's what people know, so I can see why people consider it a hidden gem on the Nintendo Wii, but At the end of the day, I'll be honest. I gotta be honest with you guys, I did not enjoy it. For what I paid for it, or for what the guy who sent it me for it paid. For what the guy who sent this to me paid for it, which is $5 from an American GameStop. I have my Wii modded so I can play these. You know, if you could find it for $5, fantastic. You're going to love this game. But I probably wouldn't pay what it's actually worth. But if you're looking for a different kind of game on the Wii, one that is very action-based, one that you don't really have to use your brain a lot for, check this out. Because even though I didn't like it, I can definitely see the merit in why people would like it. If you can tell from the gameplay, awesome. If you can't, the next game that I finished recently, and when I say recently, this was like a month ago, or a few months ago actually, it's Demon's Souls. The predecessor to the Dark Souls game that everybody loves. People love Dark Souls 1, they love Dark Souls 2, and the sequel to this game is Bloodborne, which is on the PS4, which I have not played yet. I don't own a PS4 just yet. There are a lot of good games that were announced at E3, so, you know, the wallet's over there, and it wants to go spending, so maybe one of these days. But Demon's Souls, it's a lot like Dark Souls in many ways. It's basically the same game, but on a lesser scale and with a few differences. I mean, with Dark Souls, I'm going to put this game down, you can see it in the background. In Dark Souls, you have this big open world where, as you go through the game, no matter what your level is, if you want to run through it, you can run through any part of the level, any part of the world, and access just about everything. There are a few places that are locked off until you've completed certain tasks, but in Dark Souls, you can get just about anywhere from the beginning. However, in Demon's Souls, you kind of have to do it level by level. You start off in this kind of central hub area. I forget what it's called. I honestly forget what it's called, but it ties in a lot with the story. You're in this central hub area, and the central hub area is where people go when they... I think it's where some people go when they die in the game, I think. So, like, if you die, you get teleported to the central hub area, and you're a kind of ghost. Or, as they call it in the game, they call you a hollow, where you still retain your spiritual body, but your physical body is dead. And you can go off and obtain the items and currency that you've gotten from your physical body after you've died. You have one chance to do that, but for all extent and purposes, you are dead, and you have to find a specific item or defeat a boss to regain your humanity. And as you can go through different levels, as you're in a central hub, you walk up to one of 5 pillars, I think it is, and you can choose to teleport to an individual level, and they have levels like 1-1, 1-2, 1-3, where 1-1 will have its own boss, 1-2 will have its own boss, 1-3 will have its own boss, and you have to defeat the boss of each area before you can unlock the next one. Like, you have to beat the boss of 1-1 before you can access 1-2. You know, that's probably the biggest difference that it has from Demon's Souls. Otherwise, it's very, very similar. It retains that brutal difficulty where most of the basic enemies in the game are a challenge to you. They will be able to take you out quite easily if you don't know what you're doing, and I don't really want to spoil anything about the game because the game's story is rather intricate and I would probably be able to sit here all day and talk about it. So if you have any interest in like a Mega Man style hard game where you are going to die a lot, but you're also going to get that feeling of real accomplishment after you've completed something, check out Demon's Souls, and check out Dark Souls as well. Alright, last game here, and a game that I did enjoy all the way up until the ending. The ending kind of ruined it for me, but as I try not to give away... Is there too much light coming in? Nah, it's fine. And as I try not to give away too many spoilers, I'm not going to really spoil the story of the game, so The game is Binary Domain, and I know a certain YouTuber who absolutely adores this game. I forget his name, but I voted him to be YouTuber of the Month because that was the only YouTuber of the Month that I knew apart from Raz. So this is Binary Domain. It is on the PS3, Xbox 360, and possibly PC. I don't know if it is, maybe it isn't, I haven't checked. And it is a third-person shooter where you are in this, I wouldn't really call it a Blade Runner-esque world, but that's very similar to what it is. You're in this world where in the future there's a bunch of robots and robotics that help people out in like day-to-day stuff, and one company has created like a synthetic robot that looks and acts like a person and doesn't actually know it's a robot. So it's very similar to Blade Runner in that manner, and you play as this guy, who I believe is named Dan, and you are invading... Man, the lighting in this is kind of weird, but it's because this is a very bright game. Like, everything in this game is white. You can actually see the thing in the cutscene here. So, how do I explain it? Alright, you play as Dan and his buddy Bo, I think his name is Bo. You invade Japan, which, after a while, the sea levels began to rise and most of Japan is flooded, so the only place that really still harbors life is like the higher regions, and they've built this kind of haven there. So it's your job to break through all of the water walls and get into the place where this company is held, and it has been suspected that the company that you're trying to get in to has created all of these kind of human robots, and you actually will see it in this cutscene here. Yep, there you go. And the human robots, like, none of them know that they're an actual robot until they get injured or something. They'll get like a cut on their hand and notice that there's like circuitry in their finger, and they'll go, what? So the story in this, it's pretty cool up until the end. You meet a lot of very interesting characters, and the gameplay in this is very solid. It's basically a Gears of War clone in the gameplay department, where it's a third-person shooter. You take cover, you shoot at things, you upgrade your weapons, you have a bunch of different characters that you can choose to play as that you meet later on in the game, so it's definitely one worth checking out. It's got a pretty good story. As I said, it is very akin to Blade Runner. The gameplay is solid, the graphics are beautiful on the PS3, and it's just an all-around good game, so definitely check it out. Alright, that is everything. That is all of the games that I have played just in the last few months, and I know this video is kind of shaky. I'm trying to work out a new kind of regime where I'll play a video in the background of the game I'm actually playing, so let me know what you thought about it. I'm always trying to improve the channel, so that's one way I'm trying to improve it. And alright, now it's time to film the pickups, which I have quite a few of, and it's an interesting pickup video, so look out for that down the line, or I may upload it before I upload this one. So it's a secret of my house, bidding you farewell.
And that's all, folks.